Hello and welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. I am at Los Angeles National Cemetery, and this is located adjacent to the UCLA campus and Westwood area. So there's at least 80,000 burials here, plus there's a section just right across from the freeway, in other words, the 405. But I'm going to show you plenty of graves, notable graves, and I apologize for leaving anybody out. All of our heroes are buried here. That same goes for all the national cemeteries. But I'll show you some features here and just kind of take a look around in this peaceful area. All right, come with me. Some of the cemetery's features are unique, including an administration building and adjoining Bob Hope Memorial Chapel, which was built in 1939, around 1940-ish. And there's also the only indoor columbarium located elsewhere on the site, and it was built in 1940 and 1941. These buildings were constructed by the Works Progress Administration in a distinctive Spanish Revival style of stucco and tile. The original gatehouse entrance gates have been removed. Now, it made perfect sense for this to be named after Bob Hope. I'm old enough to remember those specials where he would visit troops, like if we were in a conflict with another country. Like I remember during the Gulf War, he would be out there entertaining troops. I mean, this guy, this is what makes this guy a pure legend. Bob Hope Veterans Chapel. Now, it was dedicated on his 99th birthday, May 29, 2002. Now, he did live to see 100, but that's when he passed away. But this was in celebration of his lifelong service to our American veterans. On behalf of all veterans whose lives were touched by this legendary performer, the dedication of the Bob Hope Veterans Chapel was achieved through cooperation between the federal government and Veterans Park Conservancy, a nonprofit community organization. I want to see if I can go in. I mean, I doubt if it's open, but you just never know. Yeah, it's locked. But oh well. It would have been cool to see. Now, if you do have any questions, just go to that building right there. I mean, they have like a gravesite locator and all that. And that, by the way, is the 405, or where I come from, it's called Interstate 405, or the interstate, the freeway, I guess. And that's Sepulveda Boulevard. That's how you get to the cemetery. That's the best way to get here. And here is a historical marker on top of a hill next to a huge memorial, which I'll show you in a minute. This is Los Angeles National Cemetery. Start over here, where President William McKinley addresses veterans at the Pacific Branch of the National Home for Disabled Volunteer Soldiers, May 9th, 1901, at the Los Angeles Public Library. In 1887, the U.S. Congress approved funding for the Pacific Branch of the National Home for Disabled Volunteer Soldiers. 3 individuals donated land for the 640-acre site located 14 miles west of Los Angeles. The first barracks opened in December 1888 and filled quickly with Civil War and other veterans. Many pitched tents on the unfinished grounds awaiting a bed. Desperate for space, the early construction was more functional than aesthetic. Over time, Mission Revival became the predominant architectural style. The National Home built a 1 million-gallon reservoir to supply the facility and its agricultural operations. This water allowed the home to profit from selling its produce. Its location on an interurban railway made the National Home a tourist attraction too. The National Homes merged with the U.S. Veterans Bureau and the Bureau of Pensions to form the Veterans Administration, now the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, in 1930. The Greater Los Angeles Healthcare System, West Los Angeles Healthcare Center, continues to care for veterans today. The 20-acre National Home Cemetery was established in 1889. The first interment was Mexican War veteran Abner Prather, formerly of the 4th Indiana Infantry. The cemetery was designated Los Angeles National Cemetery in 1973. There are 2 monuments from the National Home's early years. The 27-foot-tall 3-tier granite obelisk memorializes all veterans. Similar obelisks are found at other disabled volunteer soldiers' branches. The second is a Union soldier mounted on a boulder. The painted cast zinc figure originally stood atop a campus water fountain that was dedicated in 1896. When the fountain was raised in the 1940s, the zinc figure was relocated to the cemetery. And behind, or actually in front, is this obelisk that's mentioned. And it says here, and it says, in memory of the men who offered their lives in defense of their country. Pretty neat. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some notable graves that are listed under the famous section. And then there's a couple that weren't on there, but I'll do the best I can to show you around this large cemetery. I mean, it's really big, judging by, yeah. If I did like a 360 pan shot like this, that should give you an idea how big it is. In the columbarium, we have Howard McNear. McNear was a U.S. Army private during World War II. He was best remembered as a character actor, especially as Floyd the Barber on the Andy Griffith Show. Ira Woods, also known as Buck Woods, served in the Army. He was an actor and singer. He was in the movies Road to Zanzibar, Mystery and Swing, and Double Deal. Woods also had some small uncredited roles in movies during the 1950s. John Russell, who served as second lieutenant in the Marine Corps during World War II, was an actor whose career spanned 6 decades. Russell appeared in many films and TV shows, but he is best known for his role as Marshal Dan Troop in the TV series Lawman. Spencer Williams, who was a sergeant in the U.S. Army during World War I, was an actor on the stage, cinema, and television. He is best known for portraying Andy in the Amos and Andy TV series. William Fairbanks, who was born Carl Ullman in St. Louis, Missouri, was a silent movie actor. While appearing in mostly westerns, he registered for the World War I draft. He would serve as an ensign for the U.S. Navy. Fairbanks would retire from acting as talkies became more popular. Just a short distance from Fairbanks is the final resting place of actor Douglas McPhail. He had a brief time with the U.S. Army within the Quartermaster Corps during World War II. He also had a brief time in Hollywood, appearing in small roles in movies. However, a lot of them were uncredited. McPhail committed suicide after his wife left him over his alcoholism. He was 30 years old. Cy Schindell, whose real first name was Seymour, served in World War II. Unfortunately, he had caught a permanent illness while at Guadalcanal, which took over his health for the rest of his life. Schindell appeared in several Three Stooges shorts, but in different characters. Dean Paul Martin Jr. was a son of actor-singer legend Dean Martin. He joined the California National Guard in 1980 and eventually rose to captain in the U.S. Air Force. During a storm, he was flying his F-4 Phantom fighter pilot when he unexpectedly crashed. He was 35 years old. In his earlier days, Dean was part of the singing group Dino, Desi, and Billy in the 1960s. Just a short walk from Martin is the grave of Sidney Woodrow Parfrey. Parfrey, who went by his middle name, served in World War II, and he was a prolific actor. He is known for his roles in the original Planet of the Apes series, Dirty Harry, the outlaw Josie Wales, as well as a number of TV appearances. James Webb was a major in the U.S. Army during World War II. Before and after the war, he was a Hollywood screenwriter who saw his best success with the 1963 film How the West Was Won, for which he won an Academy Award. And lastly, right across the freeway, they got a brand new columbarium because anybody who passed away before 2020 is not buried in the main section as far as the columbarium. At least that's what I've been told. But anybody who's passed away in the last 3 years, this is 2023, they're going to be right here, their ashes. So I'm going to go ahead and check out another celebrity one. Well, he wasn't really a celebrity, but he was nonetheless notable. This is the remains of Jack Burns, but that was just a stage name. This actually goes by John F. Burns, but this is his spot right here. He proudly served. So who was Jack Burns? Okay, well, I mean, yeah, he was a comedian / entertainer. Now, George Carlin, when he broke into show business, he teamed up with this guy. Burns and Carlin was the name of their act. This was during the early 1960s, and Lenny Bruce, one of the most controversial comedians of all time, aided their careers. And like, they went on the Jack Parr Tonight Show. 1962, they separated, parted ways. George Carlin went on to be, hit the big time. But on the other hand, Burns, he joined the Second City comedy troupe, where he met Avery Schreiber and led to another comedy duo. And they appeared on the Merv Griffin Show, the Ed Sullivan Show, and they recorded several comedy albums. He was also Deputy Warren Ferguson on the Andy Griffith Show from 1965 to 1966. He was also the head writer for The Muppet Show, which earned him an Emmy Award nomination in 1977. And he still remained active, but he passed away in 2020. Now we're going to visit another notable, and here is Charles Robinson, private first class. He is best known for playing Mac on TV's Night Court. Joined the cast starting in 1984, starting in season 2. He remained with the cast the rest of the show's run, but he replaced Karen Austin. Both of them played court clerks, and I mean, he did a great job and everything. I mean, he was, the likable guy and sense of humor, loyalty guy. At least that's what he played on TV. But in addition, Charles Robinson was in several films, most notably with small roles including Antoine Fisher in Apocalypse Now. And in his earlier years, he was a member of the R&B music groups Archie Bell and the Drells and Southern Clouds of Joy. Now, I don't know if he was with the Archie Bell and the Drells during their Tighten Up years, but I'd like to know more about that. But here is the remains of Charles Robinson. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Historically Marked. These cemeteries, the national cemeteries, are very peaceful, although, yes, it is surrounded by very busy freeways and busy roads and areas and all that. But still, I mean, one can exercise out here, pay tribute to those who gave all for their country, or some gave all gave some. And thank you to those who helped serve our country. So, yeah, like, it's not too far from Santa Monica. It's actually just right off at the corner of Wilshire Boulevard and Sepulveda. But hope to visit this again sometime in the future. All right, I am Jason at Los Angeles National Cemetery, signing off.